What is going on, guys? Welcome back. Commentary for you. I want to talk a little bit about Starbucks today, and not the way a traditional investing channel would, where I open up all the books and pour over technical data that's going to put you to sleep, but rather just take a common sense approach to this. And as you can see, I have one share. I told you before, my rule is generally $100 to $150 in a company. I did actually do some analysis of Starbucks before buying it, and I want to show you, obviously, they've been on a downward trend for the past 3 months, and that's really what caught my eye. I believe in Starbucks. I think they are a great company. I think they're a growing company. I think they have a lot of sustainability, but I also know that they're going through a tough period right now. And I want to talk a little bit about why I made the initial investment and what my plans are going forward. So first and foremost, you can see right around the end of October, I bought in. My average cost $83.09. I generally talk about putting only $100 to $150 in. So theoretically, I had enough for 1 or 2 shares. I elected to go with one and just kind of ride this out. The reason behind that is there's a lot of things that concern me about Starbucks. First of all, it is a giant discretionary spending in my position, in my mind. So when I look at Starbucks, if things got tough, if money got tight, am I going to continue to spend $6, $7 there, whether it's 2 to 3 times a week or even once a week? And the answer to that is probably not. Now, I know a lot of people will take that same stance and say, well, in that same light, Coke, Pepsi, all those other companies are in trouble, and they very well may be, if you look at it in that same regard. I mean, certainly no one's going to buy actual soda or a cup of coffee over food or groceries. I think we all can agree to that. But I think Starbucks is in a difficult but also a good position, if that makes sense, because obviously they have a lot of competition from the home front. I mean, yes, I understand soda streams are there, but I don't think a soda stream machine is as viable as a bottle of Coke, as a 12-pack of Mountain Dew. However, Starbucks, like I said, they recognize that threat, I think, to a degree, and they branded themselves to a lot of, Keurig brand coffees or homebrew coffees. So it's not like they're totally away from that market, but I think there's a lot of competition in the coffee space, especially you go to a grocery store, you go to a big box store, you walk down a coffee aisle, instant coffee, there's tons of brands. It's mind-numbing to look at how much is there. And I know people are fiercely loyal to Starbucks, but I don't feel like they're forcefully, they're so loyal that they're not going to eat or not going to feed their children so that they continue to buy it. So I do think, however, when you look at, getting in end of October, not so much end of November, because right now it's starting to trail back up, but when you look at, where it was going to go, people are going to go out for the holidays, okay? People are going to go shopping, people are going to do traveling, and at that point, a lot of times people do look to indulge a little bit. You're spending a lot of money on other people, you're spending a lot of money to go somewhere, you're certainly going to stop and maybe look at that $5, $6 coffee, $2, $3 Danish, and purchase something from Starbucks. So I saw the availability of a short-term return there just based on the way they were positioned to have short-term sales growth. If, however, they can sustain that into January, into February, where a lot of states are getting colder months, and, the allure of a hot coffee or hot chocolate is certainly there, then I'll probably look to continue to ride it a little bit. I think at this point, my perspective for Starbucks is probably right at around $87 to $90 over the course of the next 3 to 6 months. I don't know that I would sell out of it at that point. I'll gladly take the gain. I'll gladly look forward to the dividend. But at some point for me to re-enter Starbucks, I think we're going to have to see that dip again, which probably will come with a downturn of the economy, put you right around that $80 range. If we could get Starbucks down 79, 80, then I definitely think it's an opportunity where I would buy much more. But again, taking that starter position allows me to see where now I have growth, where later I may see some losses, but in the meantime, I'm getting paid that dividend just to hold the stock. And I think that's why it's important to go beyond just, what a company says, what their books say, and take a logical approach, a common sense approach, and look at companies that you know, and only invest really in companies that you have a firm understanding of. If I didn't know anything about Starbucks, if I was going to look at a company like Luckin Coffee, for example, that I wouldn't invest in just because, number one, they're not a dividend payer, and number two, they're not even in our country, even though people have seen a substantial growth with Luckin Coffee as they really rival Starbucks outside of the U.S. and in other markets, I really focus on companies I know and I trust. And that means I leave a ton of opportunities for market gains on the table, but it also means that I'm safeguarding myself against things that I don't understand. And that's one of the biggest threats in the stock market, getting involved in things you don't understand. I think a lot of horror stories you hear from people. A friend of mine told me a stock tip. I invested a lot of money and I lost it all. But did you really know what that company was doing? You probably didn't. And that's what sets you up for failure. If Starbucks were to fail, the extremely unlikely scenario that it did, I mean, I would look back and blame myself for making this purchase. And I'm okay blaming myself as long as I can learn, because ultimately that's what I'm here to do. I'm here to try to make money, grow my wealth, and learn. And some of the lessons are going to cost money, but I know that once I've learned them, I probably won't make those same mistakes. Love to know your thoughts on this. Appreciate you checking it out. I will be back in the week with more commentary.